Hey guys, I'm here with the family. We are doing some hiking at Nelson Ledges State Park. We are heading towards the waterfall. Decided to make a video today because I finally got my SwitchPod in the mail. If you do not know what a SwitchPod is, it is basically a handheld tripod that was on Kickstarter. A lot of photography channels and stuff had it on their pages. So I went ahead and backed the project probably like 6 months ago. Finally got it in the mail. So wanted to do a little review of it. I've used it a couple times now, have some thoughts about it. So figured while we were out hiking, beautiful fall day, I'd give you guys my thoughts on the SwitchPod and whether it's a better alternative than a Gorillapod for vlogging. All right, like I said, we're heading over to the waterfall, get some juicy B-roll, test this thing out some more, and then as we go, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts. Where are you going, Ellie? What the? Huh?
I'm a monkey.
You're a monkey? Let me see you cross them. Go, 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 as fast as you can. That's slow, dude. All right, let's go. Nelson Ledges, guys, is a, like I said, a state park. But what it is a bunch of glaciers came down from up north, carved out. You have all this huge sandstone and stuff, carved out these huge cliffs and huge rocks that you can hike around. Very, very cool. You got crevices everywhere. Like here's one the daughter is going down into. Goes all the way down through to a lower level. So lots of cool stuff like that. Almost to the waterfall. Once we get there, share with you guys a little bit of what I'm thinking of the SwitchPod.
I made it! I
made it! Made it to the waterfall, guys, right down there. So we're gonna head down there, maybe take a couple pictures, do whatever, just look at it. Then we're gonna climb back behind all these rocks and you can go up to the top above the waterfall and hike on over to what's called the Devil's Ice Box. So first thoughts of the Gorillapod. You recording me, baby? That way in case Bubby's trying to destroy the camera work of the lovely babe. But first thoughts of the SwitchPod versus the Gorillapod. Number one, I'm gonna be comparing it to the Gorillapod, the 5K, because that's the one I have. It's also Joby's more expensive Gorillapod. It's kind of heavy duty, heavy tripod in general. So I'm gonna be comparing it to that tripod. The price difference, number one, the SwitchPod costs $100. The Gorillapod that I use is like $80 now on Amazon. So the Gorillapod is about $80 cheaper. The biggest and first gripe I have with the SwitchPod is that there is no ball head. So there is no ball head like this one here on the SwitchPod. This is from my Joby Gorillapod. So that's the first thing. So that means just setting up the SwitchPod without the ball head, you cannot tilt or adjust the camera at all. You can literally just open it up and then set it down. And literally, whatever the angle is, that's the angle of the camera. There's no way to actually adjust it and change it like you can with the Gorillapods with the ball head on the tripod. So that's the first kind of complaint I have with it and using it for a little bit. So like I said, we're gonna check out this waterfall, then head around to the top and head over to the ice box. Alright guys, made it, we finished at the waterfall. We're heading up so you can climb these rocks and stuff and go to the top of the waterfall. We're going to be doing that now. So first I'm kind of going to go through what I dislike about the SwitchPod after using it. And then after that, so it's going to sound kind of negative here in the beginning because I know first I mentioned no ball head, which is probably the biggest complaint I have about this device. And then, you know, I'm going to kind of go through the rest of my disappointments. And then, like I said, we'll probably talk about some of the positives. So the other thing that I don't like is that the feet are not adjustable at all. I know this is meant to be a vlogging, you know, stick. However, when you open it up, if you're on anything on level at all, especially if you're not using a ball head and can't redistribute the weight at all, you know, the camera wants to tip. So like, you know, hiking here, this is a perfect example. I really can't set this down and get any shots like that. So that's the second biggest complaint I have about it, is that I wish they would have put some kind of little adjustments on the feet, even if it was just like a little kind of clip thing that you could bend down and clip just to raise and lower each feet individually just a little bit. That would have helped out tremendously just when you're setting it on something, because as of right now, if it's not perfectly level, like I said, you pretty much guaranteeing that the camera is always going to tip over. Alright guys, making our way over to the Devil's Ice Box. Like I said, you can see here, I didn't have it off last time, but I took off the Gorilla head so you can see how this thing is. It literally just screws with a little thumb screw down here. And then again, once open, there's no way to actually adjust. So if you're leaning a little bit and your camera was here, it's gonna be facing down. You know, if you had it that way, it's gonna be facing up a little bit. No real way to adjust it or anything like that. Also, like I said, I wish the feet, even if they just had, you know, I know they're trying to keep this lightweight and minimal, but even if it just had little, you know, adjustments, maybe like you could adjust the leg here at the bottom, the point of it, an inch or something, just to give it a little bit. And then the other thing that's really bothering me about it after using it is, if I remember right, in the video when Peter McKinnon and some of the others were reviewing this thing, back when they had the prototype and they didn't have the finished product, you have these magnets in the handle that when you know, close this thing into the handle to where you're holding it like a vlog, it has magnets that help keep these legs together. The problem is, in this final one, it's kind of pointless because you're holding all three of these and they're not actually strong enough. So if you see here, if I just hold one of the legs, it opens right up. The magnets, now again, if I remember in the video with the prototype, Peter McKinnon and stuff, they did this same thing and the magnets held these things. So I don't know if it's just the magnets in my unit or if it's all of them, but I'm really disappointed in that. You think, well, it's not really an issue if you're holding it like this, and if you're having it open, it's not a big deal. But sometimes you leave this connected to your camera, and you might be carrying it around, or you're holding the camera itself, you know, but you leave this on just for convenience sake. So something like this. So you're holding your camera or something like this, you know, taking things, and I've had several times these legs will just open up on me, jerking my camera or something while I'm, you know, trying to record something that might be up, for example. Doesn't always happen. As you can see, they're holding now, but the problem is at any moment they release, they're just not quite strong enough for what they're designed to do. Again, if you're holding the thing, it's not an issue at all, but they're designed to keep the legs together, in my assumption, when you're not actually holding it like this, because like this, your hand's keeping them together, and sometimes, like I said, that just fails. So that's my third biggest complaint. So once we get over to the ice box here, I'll share with you guys what I think this is actually good for, and then whether I think it's actually worth getting one of these over a Gorillapod, or using one of these if you already have a Gorillapod. All right guys, Ellie's gonna go inside the cave. We're gonna see if she chickens out. She's probably gonna chicken out, I bet.
I'm not going all the way.
Come on, we're crawling in there a little bit. Get up there on that log.
Guys, I found another cave! I'm not going all the way back.
Go to the log.
Fine! Guys, I found another cave! Come here!
What's wrong?
It's dark down here!
Oh. Okay, well if you're scared, come on out.
Dad, I'm not scared.
Well, I'm just saying, you're the one that said it was dark in there. I just was saying, if you're scared, come out.
I'm on top of the log, Dad.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting out. I'm already
Okay.
getting out.
All right, guys, still making our way over to the Devil's Icebox. It is gorgeous out. I love fall time. I know I've mentioned it before on my live streams and stuff and different points. I love fall time. It's just gorgeous. It's beautiful, especially if you're an outdoors person. The only issue I have with fall is that it means winter's coming. And that does not make me happy at all. So, heading over to the Devil's Icebox. So just kind of some more thoughts on this SwitchPod, using it and stuff, hanging out with the family today. Again, you know, my biggest takeaway or my biggest thing with it, my biggest gripe, you know, are really those 3 features I mentioned. It's more the fact that this thing costs $99 and the Gorillapod I use costs $80 with the ball head and everything. And to be honest, you don't even need the big one with most cameras nowadays. You could use their 3K kit, which is like $50. And the thing about the Gorillapod versus the SwitchPod is that you can use it for a lot more applications. The one area this thing really shines in is the fact that that it's very easy to hold in vlog style like this. That really, you know, I said this was gonna sound like I was kind of tearing apart this SwitchPod and stuff, but that's because really the only benefit to this thing that I have found versus the Gorillapod is that it's a lot more ergonomic, what's that word? Ergonomically able to hold it, whatever the word is. It's easier to hold. It feels better. It's not such a big bulk. So that makes it easier to hold. That's really the only area, in my opinion, that this thing outshines the Gorillapod. And in my opinion, unless you already have a Gorillapod to where you can steal the ball head off of it, or some type of tripod where you can steal the ball head and put it on this thing, it's pretty much useless without a ball head. That's just my opinion, you know, been doing this a long time. Because again, anytime you actually want to set down the camera and record yourself, without the ball head, you can't make any adjustments whatsoever besides just turning the camera 360 degrees in one direction or the other around. You can't actually tilt or tilt it up and down at all. So, you know, is what it is. Again, hiking over to the Devil's Icebox. Is basically just a small cave with water running through it. It's normally pretty chilly inside of it. Even in the middle of summer, it'll be really cool. So get there and then we'll probably be finishing up the hike. And then I'll answer the question, you know, should I buy a SwitchPod? If I don't have a Gorillapod or a SwitchPod, should I get the Gorillapod or the SwitchPod? And what if you already have a Gorillapod? Is this thing worth $100 to purchase if you already have a Gorillapod you can use anyways? All right, let's get there and then we'll end the video with kind of my final thoughts on this thing. Ellie found a really cool big leaf. She wants to show it here.
This thing's huge.
Put it in front of your face. Look at that, it's bigger than your face. All right, let's get to the Devil's Icebox. Alright guys, heading back to the car. Just finished at the Devil's Icebox. Literally just a cave. There was like 20 people, so admittedly I was a little nervous to be recording in there with all those people there, so I didn't. I'll show you guys the Devil's Icebox another time though. Anyway, so in summary, my review of the SwitchPod. I don't think it's worth $100 to be honest. If you already have a Gorillapod, I don't think this thing's gonna do anything more for you than what your Gorillapod does. Besides, again, being a little more comfortable to hold in your hand. And I think that the Gorillapod allows you to do quite a bit more than what you can do with just the SwitchPod. Because it has the bendable legs, you can have it on uneven surfaces without worrying about it falling over. You can wrap it around things like tree branches or poles to get different shots that you might not be able to get with this thing. You know, it has the ball head already on it, costs $20 less. Again, you know, the construction of this is nice, the aluminum, it's light, but overall, I just don't think it's worth the extra 20 bucks, $100 just for it to feel better when you hold it in your hand. Just isn't really a great selling point for me. Especially if you already have a Gorillapod. I just don't think for what it does, it's worth another $100 on top of what you paid for your Gorillapod. If you have neither, and really the only type of videos you do are vlog style, where you're literally holding the camera out in front of you like this, talking head the entire time, no B-roll, nothing like that, literally just talking to the camera like this, maybe something like Emma Chamberlain type vlogs, then this would actually about be the only time that I would say this is better than the Gorillapod. So do yourself a favor, if you're looking to get in a Gorillapod versus SwitchPod, get the Gorillapod. Don't get the 5K like I got, which is $80. Get the, I think it's a 4K or the 3K. It's the step down, much lighter. The legs are smaller, so it's more comfortable to hold in your hand, and it's even cheaper, so. All right, that's it guys. We had a great day hiking, didn't we guys?
Woo.
Heading back to the car now. Thanks so much for watching guys. Hope that answered any questions you might have about the SwitchPod and stuff, so. Till next time, peace out everybody. I forgot guys, if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you do that by hitting the red subscribe button below. You can expect videos on whatever I feel like making videos on. Gaming, photography, videography, travel, stuff like that. So hit the subscribe button. If you didn't like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And until next time, peace out everybody.